9 a.m, 3 hours before the cook is due to start. The current weather is unpleasant. And we don't have a roof. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel on what is a very British weather day here in England. Today I'm making St. Louis style ribs. I'm very excited about this. It's the first time that I've made this, well, it's the first time I made ribs full stop on the Weber. Now the first thing we're going to do is get this lit up because the weather is a bit crap, so it might take a bit longer to get up to temp. Let's get on the go. Okay, so as this is going to be indirect style, where this chimney currently is where the ribs are going to go. So there's coal here, there's coal here, and then once this is lit, I'm going to put a little bit in there, to light these, and hopefully they should, snake style as they say, spread back and kind of burn throughout the cook, and means that we get plenty of heat throughout. Now, a little tip that I've learned is that this, you may have seen before, is currently upside down, which means in the bottom you can put fewer coals for instances like this, whereas normally you would fill up all of this chimney. So on this occasion I've got, I think, like 8 in there, which I think should be about enough. Let's light it up. Okay, so while that is heating up outside, what we're going to do is prep these ribs. Now again, it's the first time I've ever done this. I've read quite a bit, I've watched a couple of videos and stuff, so it's a little bit trial and error, but I have my knife, I have my ribs, I have a chopping board, and I have this from Angus and Oik, which probably should have been there when I started this video. I mean, we are trying to get this lit, but the weather is having other ideas. Okay, so here we go. What I have here is a pack of St. Louis style pork spare ribs. They are technically pre-trimmed, but we're about to find out exactly how pre-trimmed they are. So we'll just open this up. And a little tip that I was given by one of the channels I watched is to open it up like an envelope, so that when you remove these, most of the juices stay in this packet. Wow, look at that. A good start. Okay, so this is the meaty side. This is the bone side, and the first port of call is this is the membrane, and this is what I need to remove. So I came prepared. I have kitchen paper. I have a knife. Now what you're meant to do now is try and slide this under part of the membrane. Now some videos you watch make this look super easy, some make it look an absolute chore. We're about to find out whether or not mine fits into the first or the second category. First attempt at it actually seems not too bad. Now I think what you're meant to do from this point is, which is what I have the kitchen roll for, is you're meant to grab hold of this with the kitchen roll to give you a bit of better grip. And I was feeling a little bit smug there as I was pulling away, and it wasn't needing that, but we're going to turn to the kitchen paper now, so let's see how this goes. So you're meant to grab it, grip it, and grip it, almost as if you were playing golf. So I've gripped it, and hopefully this will come off in one big piece. Grip it, rip it. Magic. I think that's pretty much all of it. There is a little bit here that I'll need to remove. You don't need to see that. We'll come back in a moment. Okay, weather has given us a break. We are now watching this. We need that to be ballpark 250 so that we can pop the old ribs on. We're a little bit behind schedule, but I'm hopeful that we can get this up to temp pretty quick. Both vents are fully open. You can see the old smoke coming out there. Open and open, give it the best chance of igniting. Check in shortly. Okay, so membrane has been removed on the other side. This is the fat side up. Now if you watch enough videos, they'll tell you that you should really level this off. There is a little bit of bone in the end here, so I'm reluctant to actually trim that anymore. I quite like it as it is, and obviously this is the first time doing it, so we shall see how this goes. Now you're also meant to kind of see if there's any little bits that are hanging off that might catch, but again, This is the first time I'm doing it, and I don't see any little bits that are really going to concern me a huge amount. So let's get the rub on. As I was saying, this is the sweet bones and butts from Angus & Oink. It's a maple barbecue rub and seasoning. I mean, it sounds right up my street. It sounds like it goes well with pork, which is good because that's what we have. So you're meant to kind of do this from a bit of a height to get an even coat. Now, in this instance, I'm going to end up chucking it all over the counter, or trying to avoid doing that because that is a waste of rub. What I'll do now is I'm just going to flip that over because obviously you need to do the other side. Whoa, there we go. Fun times to be had. Just pat that in a second. Again, only going on what I've been told. Pat, don't rub. A good instruction to work for life. And then the same on the other side. Almost like having your own barbecue channel. If barbecue channels were made by complete amateurs. That is looking lovely. That is looking lovely. Just going to tie up these few little bits around here, and then we're going to go check out the fire and see if we can get this on. I think we're nearly ready to rock. The temperature gauge that sits on the grill rack says 205 Fahrenheit, which is a little bit below where I'd want it. But the temperature gauge on the Weber, which sits at the top, says 300 Fahrenheit, which is a bit above where I'd want it. So I'm thinking we're probably good to chuck it in the middle. Let's get it on. Just before we get started, we're going to need one of these and some of this. So I probably should have done this beforehand, to be honest, given the temperatures and whatnot. And pop that on. Very hot, and so I'm just going to remove that so I can do it properly. Hot water, so as not to reduce the temperature too much. This will help to keep things moist. That should do. We're just going to close that down now for a minute or two to bring the temperature back up, and then the ribs are going on. These have been marinating nicely. Let's get them on the grill. So we're going widthways. Chuck that on there. Bunch it up a little bit. All nice. Close that lid. See you in an hour or so. That's it for the time being. Just got to keep an eye to the temperature. Obviously it's a bit up and down with opening the lid. Just got to make sure that it settles in the 250 Fahrenheit area. Okay, so they've been in for an hour or so. Time for a check-in. Let's see how things are looking. Temperature gauge, 275. This is 192. There we go, starting to crisp up a little bit. Lovely. Houston, we've had a problem. Hopefully I've corrected it, but that's the problem that was avoidable, which is annoying. I've been checking the temperature via the Inkbird probe, and I knew that it was running lower than the temperature on the kettle. So I'd kind of ignored it because you're not really meant to check, and obviously every time you open it you can release the heat. So that's kind of productive. However, I did just go down to check on it, and now that I have checked it, I can see that for whatever reason, the coal at the back, the coals I put in that were lit to ignite the rest of the coals seem to have gone out, which means they've never actually lit. So the kettle's been running at half temp, which would explain all the issues I've had. So I've just chucked one of the little, whatever they're called, lighters in to try and spark it back up again and crank some heat up, but obviously that's going to impact the cook. Here we go, moment of truth. Assuming that they're ready, fingers crossed. Oh, my word. Look at those, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Let's get some sauce on these, close this lid down, finish them off, and then I'll show you when they're done. So here we go, they've had a bit of a rest. I think they're ready. I'm gonna carve some up so you can see for yourself. Then I'm gonna go have some dinner. Look at that. Look at that. Let's go. So good. So good. If you haven't got barbecue sauce around your mouth when you're eating ribs, are you even doing it properly? Well done, mate. So that's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this content as much as I've enjoyed making this content, big thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, I'd really appreciate it if you would do so. Plenty more content like this and other stuff to come. In conclusion, for today's cook, I've actually really enjoyed it, and that's always a good thing, despite the weather. The ribs tasted fantastic. We ate a lot of them. There are a couple little things I could tweak. Had some slight issues with the coals. This is a learning curve, and anybody who's watching this who have been grilling for a long time, hopefully you would see the things and mistakes I'm making and think, yeah, I've done that too. If you are new to this and you're seeing what I'm doing, by all means try and fix the problems that I've made before you make them. It is part of the learning curve. It's fun, and if you are learning something new and you get to eat at the end of it, then what's not to like? Thanks again. Hope to see you again soon.